So for the past 2 weeks, we've been hanging out in Redding, California. We stayed at Boulder Creek RV Resort.
Pretty nice spot.
Yeah. Really enjoyed our stay at Boulder Creek. It was a super nice campground. Even met the managers and talked to them for a little while last night before leaving, and they're super nice.
Super friendly.
They did have a pool that they opened up this last week that we were here, and I jumped in it a couple times. It was very cold, but it got up to like 70s, 80s while we were there, so temperatures were definitely rising in the valley.
I mean, it was pretty chilly before I left for my work trip, and I came back, and my gosh, was it a swing in temperatures.
Yeah, the sights were really nice. We had a big grassy area between us and my parents. There was a picnic table, no fire ring, but that area of California, they have, fire danger advisories often. And then really nice amenities. Laundry was very cheap. Did a lot of laundry while we were there. They have a little clubhouse that has games in it and a kitchen.
They have a mail room so you can have packages delivered.
Really enjoyed that because you could send stuff there, and then you are given like a little key card to get into like laundry, bathrooms, and the mail room. So instead of having to call the office or show up and ask for a package, you just use your little card and it brings you into this little mail room, and you can just pick up anything that's there for you.
One thing I really loved, probably because I miss it so much, is every campsite has grass.
Yeah.
Like pretty decent grass.
Yeah, after spending so long in the desert, it's really nice to have greenery all around us. My favorite part of the RV resort was I was outside on the first or second day that we were there, and I saw this huge bird walking towards me.
Blueberry.
And I was like, what is that? I was like, that's not a turkey. So I'm like waving, so like getting my parents' attention in their camper, and I'm like, look. And it like walked right up to my feet, and it was a peacock. And so we named her Blueberry, and apparently she's a resident there. Mm-hmm. And she's been there for like several months. And even last night, she came right up to us and then flew up into the tree that we were sitting under.
Yeah, I didn't know if I was going to have to be dodging bullets from above.
But she was so cute, and she just walks around all day long, and you'll see her like perched in several different places. There's like a nice river that runs through the RV resort, and she will like sit on the bench and just watch the ducks swimming, and she's hilarious. Really beautiful sights, beautiful spot. We enjoyed Redding way more than we anticipated. We didn't really have any expectations going into it. We just chose a spot that was kind of near Sacramento because Brad was traveling for work.
Right.
But ended up really loving the area, and they have a ton of outdoor recreation opportunities there.
Another great thing is the campground is actually set off the road a little bit. There is no, loud highway noise, no train noises, but there's anything you need. Hardware store like Home Depot, Lowe's,
there's mall,
grocery store, a mall, Walmart, all within like 15 minutes.
I got my first haircut in 6 months there at JCPenney's. We didn't know this either, but apparently Redding is one of the sunniest, if not the sunniest city in all of California. It's also known for its many trails, and one of them is the Sacramento River Trail, 17 miles one way.
Yeah, I think it's close to that.
And it starts basically in downtown Redding near the Sundial Bridge, which if you've never seen that, that's pretty cool. We went over there just so we could bike across it and check it out. The river itself is like a blue-green. It's really beautiful. This trail goes all the way up to the Shasta Dam. We agreed it was like the most beautiful bike path we've ever been on. It
Hands
was so
down.
nice.
People of Redding in that area are so lucky to have something as gorgeous as that.
Yeah, after work one day, we took our bikes on it and we went about halfway up and then came back down.
The end of our trip here, we went back and did the second half, essentially starting from the Shasta Dam.
Yep.
And
which is very impressive in itself.
Yeah, that was pretty neat. Basically, that went about 8.5, 9 miles back to the midway point where we got to the first time that we rode the path.
Another big item that I wanted to do while we were up here, especially with all the snowmelt and rainwater in the spring, was check out all of the waterfalls. There are so many of them.
Which CeLynn dubbed the waterfall tour.
Yeah. So Brad took a Friday off and we did a waterfall tour day. So we just went around and checked out a bunch of them. We started at Bernie Falls. So there is an entrance fee for that one, and it gets very crowded, we've heard. So we got up super early and tried to get there as quick quick as we could, and there was very few people when we went there.
Yeah.
But it was also a Friday. It was a
weekday, slightly off season. It was impressive.
We did I think it was like a mile loop around it. So you kind of go down to the falls, and then you go downriver a little bit, cross over, head back upriver above the falls, and then back to the parking lot. Would highly recommend it if you're in the area. After that one, it was tough because we were like, wow, how is anything gonna match that? Then we went to McCloud Falls, which we knew the road was closed partially to get there. There's some rough dirt roads to get to this waterfall. So there was like some loggers there, so we stopped and talked to them because they were on that road that we were turning on, and we were like,
they were pretty much blocking the road.
Yeah, we were like, is this how you get to McCloud Falls? And they were like, oh yeah, like it'll be longer if you go the other way. It added some extra mileage, but it was still only like, 4 miles? And we didn't do all 3, so there's upper, middle, and lower McCloud Falls, and we just did the upper and the middle.
I really enjoyed Middle Falls. It's just neat how it kind of wraps around, and it's just very wide.
Yeah, and it's cool because on the trail that you're taking, you're like way above it looking down. You have a view of the mountains in the background, and then you go all the way down these switchbacks to the bottom of the falls, and it's all misty down there. And then after that, we headed over towards Mount Shasta. So we just did a big loop this day, and we checked out Siskiyou Lake, and we were hoping for a reflection, but it wasn't quite calm enough. It's just a really beautiful view of Mount Shasta. It was a quick stop for us. And then after that, we did another really short one. I think it was only a half mile to Hedge Creek Falls. And that one's a little unique because you can walk behind it, which was cool.
Very narrow waterfall. It looks like the splatter kind of like eroded back underneath the
ledge.
I don't know, yeah, the ledge. And that allows you to kind of walk around and behind it, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, and we did have a few others on the list, but we were really taking our time and just enjoying the day, so we didn't get to all of them.
Next up for activities, we ended up checking out Shasta Lake Caverns. Pretty neat. You arrive there, they got a nice little shop. They ask you to get there about a half an hour early. That way you can check in, get your ticket, eat any food or drink, because they don't want you to really bring anything into the cave, I believe.
You can have like a little purse or pocketbook, but I think that's it.
Maybe like a fanny pack.
Or a camera.
It is a consistent
72, I think.
72 degrees in the cavern, kind of regardless of what's going on outside, just because it is underground. We got down to the dock, and they've got their own little ferry that comes to pick you up, and they zoom you across the lake. It's like a little 10-minute boat ride. You land on the other side of the lake, and they've got their own buses there that'll shuttle you up 800 feet?
Something like that.
Up to the start of the caverns, where they have another building where you could use the restroom one last time before you go in. They go over the safety briefing, and yeah, you jump right into it.
Yeah, it had a few bigger rooms, and you kind of start out in a long, dark hallway to get further in.
Yeah, so originally the people that found these caverns found a natural way in, but they wanted to make it more accessible for the general public to be able to go and see. So they actually blasted a tunnel into it. That's the tunnel CeLynn was mentioning. Until they made their way all the way in to what they called the basement room, which is where they originally found. But on the way there, they actually ended up blasting into a couple other rooms that they were able to loop together and kind of create this whole tour out of it.
It was really neat. And one of them, I don't remember the name of it, was the gem room or something, crystal room. Something like that. It was very colorful. Like it had lots of pinks and yellows and whites, and it was sparkly. And then in the grand main room, they did like a light show, which was kind of cool. They hired this guy, I think from Spain.
Yeah.
He was like a light artist basically, and put together this whole show for them to kind of, in a way, reenact like the discovery of the caverns and its history, which was neat.
Yeah, they had good music going with it. The whole light show kind of illuminating different parts of the cave all at once, just to highlight the different features, which was really interesting.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, they allow you to experience what it's like to be in total darkness, where they shut all the lights off and just have you pretty much stand there in silence and just like take it all in.
Dark.
Yeah.
Dark. That afternoon, we went over to Whiskeytown. We didn't have a ton of time to explore Whiskeytown, but we did a couple things. We did check out Crystal Creek Falls, which was really nice. Mm-hmm. So there was a really large fire that happened, and it engulfed a big portion of Whiskeytown. So if you go to the reservoir, it's burnt on either side. Lots of trees are gone. It's mostly like small shrubbery and grasses, but it's still a really beautiful area. They have multiple waterfalls, lots of trails. We were hoping to do some mountain biking there, but didn't get a chance to.
So we ended up doing the Caverns on Saturday, along with that additional waterfall in Whiskeytown. And Sunday, I actually had to have CeLynn drive me to Sacramento so I could catch a plane to Nashville in Tennessee for a work conference, which I was there for pretty much 4 days. Ended up getting back pretty late Thursday night, so CeLynn was with their parents for the week.
So it rained for a few days, so we didn't do a whole lot. One day after work, we went to do the Bailey Cove loop, which is on Lake Shasta. It's very beautiful. It was a short, like 2.73 mile loop, I believe. The only thing is there's a lot of poison oak, like all around your ankles along most of the trail. So just be wary of that. Maybe wear pants. I did not, so I made sure when we got back to the truck to wipe down with wipes we had in the truck, and then showered as soon as I got home. Took a half day on Wednesday and we went to Crags State Park, which would highly recommend going there. We did the Crags Trail to Castle Dome. It's very beautiful, and the Castle Crags, once you get to the top, are just really impressive. It almost looks like you're in Europe or Italy, like looking at the Dolomites or something. Like, they're just very steep, pointy rocks that are really cool. And if you go up, climb a little bit up these slabs and then look out beyond that, you can see Mount Shasta. And we almost did miss the main viewpoint, so as we were heading back down the trail, we saw that it kind of broke off to the left. So as you're heading up, keep an eye out on the right-hand side. It's kind of scrambly with some loose rock and gravel, but if you take that trail to the right, it'll bring you to a view of Mount Shasta, which is really beautiful. The road up there was extremely windy and narrow, and it was a one-lane road, so we're glad that we went on a weekday because both us and my parents only have trucks right now, so it was a little hairy driving that. And on the way down, we did run into a couple people and had to throw it in reverse and find a spot to back up into.
I think you told me you don't recommend anybody go with a dually.
No, I don't think our dually would have fit, honestly. Like, some of the turns were really tight and the parking lots are not very big, but otherwise would highly recommend checking it out. Another thing we wanted to do while we were in Redding, but our timing just wasn't great for it, was Lassen Volcanic National Park. They are totally snowed in right now, so there is one main road throughout the park and it's closed because of snow. So we decided to wait on that, and maybe we'll do it in the future on a trip to California to do. We also didn't do like Yosemite, Kings Canyon, and Sequoia, so maybe we'll add those in and do them next year. We have been staying places for like a week at a time. This one was different because Brad was traveling, so we did 2 weeks, but honestly 2 weeks didn't feel like enough there. I would have been happy staying there longer. It was such a beautiful place and so much to do.
I agree.
Yeah.
I like that bike path. I would have gone multiple times.
So if you're ever in the Shasta County area, check out Redding. And now we're heading to the Redwoods, our last week in California before we cross over into Oregon. Keep an eye out and we'll share about our week in the Redwoods. We're going to try to fit in a lot.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.